Alrighty, let's get started, shall we? Good evening, one. Good evening, all, and welcome to this evening's stream. I am M4J, as always, and tonight I'm going to remember to transition over into the game before I start talking. Welcome back to the M4J Network. It's been a couple of weeks since the last stream. I've had a good break-ish. The first week was just M4J. Took a week off from that. Second week was M4J and XVI stuff. So I feel quite refreshed and I feel raring to go again, which is good news because we're going to be busy in the M4J network over the next few weeks. We're adding new train services, we're going to be building new lines, we're going to be completely repopulating the existing network. And by that I mean get as many trains running as is physically possible. And we're going to start by linking the two capitals up finally. And what I mean by that is this is Gardcity, this is Gardcity, Greater Gardcity, all the Guard cities, and this station here is Gardcity St Mark, which at the moment has two train services. A station of this size has two train services. One is the overground loop, which there's a train right there, and the other, you can see it up here. These are the Gardcity Connect services, otherwise known as Centre Rail. They link the north to the south, the east to the west. And this is the first service, which is Dronnington and Tenfing Bridge to Cadingbury Junction. We've also got here, what's this one? Gardcity Punfingford Airport Terminal 1, I think it is. Might be Terminal 3. All the way down to Dinstown. And then this one here is Dronnington and Tenfing Bridge over to Renston Interchange. We're not going to worry about these for tonight, though. I was just, I had these open because I was doing some tests and stuff. And this train here is West Winds, Gardcity St Elizabeth to Flame Junction. And again, I've still got to do all of those. But that's off-camera stuff. We're not going to worry about that right now. Before we go any further, though, I would like to put out a little announcement. Because I tried to announce it earlier, but my little apps that I use to post stuff to social media didn't really want to cooperate. I mean, Reddit's had a few problems over the last couple of days. I think Reddit had a problem today, which completely screwed all that up. So, basically what's happened, my Discord, which I've always had, I've had a Discord for like 3 years now, I think, maybe longer. It's now publicly available. So if you look in the description below this video, you will see a link. It says something like join the official M4J Discord. Click that link and it will take you to the M4J official Discord, and you'll become a member of the M4J community. The reason I'm really pushing this is I've been doing a lot of reading over the last few weeks, especially the last couple of weeks, because I kind of feel like we're at another crossroads in terms of the channel, which is not a bad thing. This is a good thing. The reason is XVI is constantly getting closer and closer now to releasing a game. So it's all hands on deck there, which means the channel, M4J, has become more of a hobby again than it has a job. And that's a good thing, because it means I'm a lot more relaxed about it, and actually I'm producing better work because of that. So the M4J network is my crown and pride and glory and all that kind of thing. And it's kind of the center point of this new Discord community that I've created. So if you go on the Discord, you'll see there is a channel, and I need to go on there now so I can find it myself, called the M4J Network. That's the place to go if you're an OpenTTD fan. So you can go in there, you can post questions, you can post images of your own network or of your version of the M4J network. You can also post videos. I think there is a limit to the file size. So as long as you stay below that, that's not my rules, that's Discord's rules, unfortunately. But I'm very, very interested in getting as many people as possible involved in that, because I think that would be really, really cool. And yeah, I tried to post it earlier, and because Reddit was playing up, it didn't push through to Twitter and Facebook like it was supposed to, which meant I had to try and do that. I think it's all pushed through now and working, but if it's not, it doesn't matter because I've announced it here anyway. And if you can hear screaming outside the window, it's not vicious murders taking place. It is, of course, Halloween tonight. I don't celebrate Halloween myself, but there are people outside who celebrate it perhaps a little too much by the sounds of it. So apologies in advance for all of that. So yeah, Discord and Reddit are going to be the two best places to get in touch regarding OpenTTD. I am going to keep the Reddit stuff going because I think that's a really good place to have little one-off conversations about things, but Discord is the best place to go for direct conversation. So if you follow the link, I believe you get put into a category when you first join, but if you send me a message or just put something in the main hub chat, I'll promote, demote as and when necessary, so that everyone has access to all the things they need to have access to. And there's also a little music bot there as well that you can have play music if you so wish. That's kind of something I've nicked from a couple of other Discords. But yeah, let's get on to the actual topic at hand. So George, you said you had some ideas for new services. I will say in advance, please don't get carried away. We are going to repopulate the network, but we're going to do it properly. So that means we're not just going to throw a million trains in and see what happens. And also, particularly on the western side of the map, that's probably going to be the last bit to be done down the west coast and the Great Western Extension and things like that. Mainly because I want to focus on new stuff for the time being, or re-establishing old things that haven't yet been seen in the M4J network. So there's a lot of stuff that was in the Jeffries network that will probably be done a little bit further down the line, if that makes sense. But as always, I'm really intrigued to see what other people suggest, so feel free to do that throughout the stream. I've already laid down the law on politics. There'll be no politics of any kind tonight. No mention of the Williams review, no mention of any kind of DFT related stuff. Politics is boring and depressing, and especially considering what today was supposed to be, and now today isn't what today was supposed to be. Let's just not talk about it at all. Let's, for 2 hours or so, pretend it doesn't exist. And let's all have a good time. Right, yes, GSMA. This is going to be the hub of our intercity network, shall we say. So all the fast services and semi-fast services that aren't rapid transit and aren't high speed, they're all going to come from here. Particularly these extended platforms that stick out beyond the structure here. The plan originally was to run some down this way through Shoreham Junction, or through the through lines here, down this way through Sibbertsham, maybe stopping at Dinpool, and then taking this line down through Cadingbury, which is over here, and then on to this line here, which goes all the way down. And I'm trying to remember what all these lines are called, and I can't remember off the top of my head, but fortunately George has created that presentation / website for us, so we can always go and check with that. But yeah, it will continue down this way. It will stop at Bathurst Street, and then continue down this way, and then it will head south and go, where are we? Through here, through Drenninghead, maybe stopping there as well, and then down through Denston, and then when we get to this junction, turn east, down through Drentbourne, and then on to Bahecity. 1 or 2 services will most likely do that, but that's not really express, because it's kind of, it's like a really elongated way of doing the journey. There's a lot of toing and froing, there's a lot of turning back on yourself and things like that. But we will still have it because it's quite handy. It's a good diversionary route as well. So if for whatever reason, if a line gets shut or moved or whatever, we can run trains this way while all that's going on. What I want to do is utilize these sets of lines here. So we are going to move this waypoint, and we'll get the track running straight diagonal here. We will have maybe 1 or 2 trains that stop at New Rennington that go all the way down to Bahecity. Thing is with New Rennington is it's mainly like a commuter station. It's not really a intercity type station. Heard today that Pacers will be allowed to remain in traffic till May next year. Yep, doesn't surprise me. Additional Lincoln services have begun on LNER. That's good. Additional services is always a good thing. So yeah, the bulk of the express trains will use this line and will come down this way, and then follow the main line down this way. And the reason why this is a bit more of a direct route is here is the junction to New Cadingbury. Not New Cadingbury, Cadingbury Junction. Probably could call it New Cadenbury now though, considering a lot of this will be new by the time we're done. So yeah, you can see already it's a bit more of a direct route. Plus this bit here, it goes off to the east and then turns south, whereas this line here just continues south. I'm going to have to try and remember which one it is. Tunway and Funston. The station itself is going to stay as is, but all of the approach lines leading up to it will be rebuilt. We'll do the method that we've used at Munfingford and also at Beffingway, where we get all of the slow lines on one side and all of the fast lines on the other side, and then have it all split up and merge and things like that. So it's all done either on the north side of the station or the south side of the station, depending on whether you're a slow or fast train. It's just more efficient to do it that way, rather than this dumb thing that we've got here. Although Sarham North, I would like to keep that station, so we might have to rebuild some tracks in order to get that in. Maybe have it as a diversionary, so trains that don't go into Tarn. Oh, mind you, the trains will go into Tarnway and then reverse. So maybe Sarham North will get lost. I don't know yet. But then from here, this line I think goes and connects with the high-speed line at I can't remember the name of the station, but we're not going to worry about that. Instead, we're going to turn south, and we're going to head this way, and then we're going to keep going south, and then we're going to turn east. We're going to go through Waterside Airport, and again, junctions will all get rebuilt. This line here, do we know where that goes? Oh, we do. Okay. No problem there then. And then yeah, keeps going east here, goes through Nunville Central, and then somewhere, oh yeah, passes over. So this is the line that deviates off to the east, back at that junction, so it actually loops back on itself and then heads directly south. We're going to keep going this way, and then eventually we're going to end up over here at Drentbourne. And then we're going to use the new line that we rebuilt a couple of weeks ago to take us right into the heart of Bahecity. That's what the plan is going to be. And then this line, where does this one go again? It goes down to the south coast, doesn't it? This one we built, yeah. And goes down here and connects up at Plenborough. Also, this line here, currently electrified on overhead electrification. I think I'm going to turn it into third rail electrification, because it is the southern region, inverted commas, so it would make more sense to do that. But again, we'll see. For now, though, we have got 3 things that we're going to be doing tonight. This is probably going to be a long stream, thinking about it. I don't think we're going to get all this done in 2 hours. Basically, we'll go until we stop, is the plan. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to plan out express and semi-fast services between Gardcity and Bahecity using newly rebuilt lines, which is kind of what I've just talked you through. We're also going to have to come up with a name for the franchise, or at least, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Before a franchise holder takes it and renames it, like the placeholder name. That's the one I was looking for. We're going to come up with some placeholder names for these franchises. We're then going to finish construction on the main line to Wenningpool Acidalia, which, if we go over to Bahecity, which is somewhere over here, I believe it is here. So this is Bahecity Central. This is going to be the Bahecity hub for the intercity trains. Kind of feel like this station's a bit small now. Might have to extend it, but we'll have to look at doing that. Might have to rebuild it, but that's for another time. Keep going north. We follow this main line here. We keep going north, turn slightly west, keep going north. So we're now on what's called the Bahecity Commuter Belt, which we built many weeks ago now. And it also integrates nicely with the high-speed line and has a nice little junction here with the Transrapid and Air as well. This is where the high-speed line branches off and heads towards Gardcity St George. We're going to continue up this way along this route that we built. I don't think we built any stations or anything, did we? I'm sure that's one of those ones where I said I'll build the stations after the stream and then never actually did it. Also this station site here that never got built. All the way up this way, and then somewhere here is where we currently end, but you can already see it's been planned to continue north. Are we at the old Transrapid now? I think this is the old Transrapid that isn't used anymore. Maybe it's not. There's a way of finding out. I think this is the current. Oh no, it is the old one. There you go. You can see where the junction is. This will all get removed because we're actually going to use the old platforms there for this. So we'll follow this line all the way up again. We're going to keep building this way, which I'm pretty sure is actually going to be... Oh no, it's not too bad. And then this is where we terminate. And this is like the northern limit of the Bahecity Commuter Belt, even though we're technically almost level with Gardcity at this point. In fact, I think we're slightly north of it. And then we're going to rebuild the line to the south of Bahecity as well a little bit, probably to the first or second major station. And then that's going to be the Bahecity Commuter Belt north-south. And we'll plan out some new services to run along there as well. So let's get started, because I've talked a lot. 15 minutes worth. Let's actually do some building before I bore people to death. So from here, I think we're going to take this set of lines here. So the easternmost for the slow and fast. So yeah, George, if you want to offer your ideas while we're doing this, that would be great. And then we'll see, because if they're good ideas, obviously we'll plan them out immediately, add them to the list, as it were. Plus, we need the name. If everyone can get their thinking caps on and come up with a name for that franchise, it'll be the franchise that links Bahecity to Gardcity. So, Capital Connect. I don't want to give people ideas. I want you guys to come up with your own ideas. So I think this here is going to be the site that we trundle through. Then I think we'll just join it up to the bank there at that point. You're too narrow. No, you're just right. There we go. And there we go. So we're going to leave the track elevated at this point. Yeah, I think that's going to be best. Like, utilize the topography. Something like this. So here, you're going to slope down, you're going to slope down. Is that enough? Let me just check. So from here, you're going to come all the way along like that. You're going to connect there. You're going to continue down to there. So we can go a little bit further. So I want to put all the waypoints in before we turn. Okay, and then we'll slope. We will slope down here, and then we'll just tunnel underneath the lines here. That was dumb. Did not mean to do that. Right. That's more like it. And again, that's not what I wanted to do. This is what I wanted to do. And then you and you. Okay. So this needs to come out a little bit further. Like so. And we don't need that, but we do need these. And then you can just slope down, and we'll build those some other time once we know where they're actually going, because I don't think we do right now. Straight north, perhaps. Could be a second northern terminus of this commuter belt. Oops. Also, should we have some music tonight, or is everyone happy with it as is? Can always add some music if people want to. I want to try and liven up these streams a little bit more, because, you know, it's a very nerdy subject what we're doing here, but it doesn't mean it can't be a little bit more lively, you know. Okay, we'll connect you up like that. That should be a wide enough radius. You could have a few services that run from Bahecity and run just beyond the commuter belt and don't go all the way to Wenningpool terminus. Yeah, we could do that. The options are there for us to do lots. So like Gardcity is very linear in what you can and can't do there. So for like all the terminus stations all serve their own main line, whereas in Bahecity it's a bit more. So like Gardcity is London, Bahecity is Amsterdam. That's the way I've kind of planned it. So in Amsterdam, pretty much all the main stations are connected to each other, which means you can get a train from any of the main stations to pretty much anywhere in the Netherlands. And that's what I wanted to do with Bahecity. So, yeah, there's a lot more options as to what we can and can't do there. So you can get a train from Bahecity Central up to Wenningpool, or you can get a train from Bahecity. I've forgotten what all the other ones are called now. The northern one's Fort something, I think. You can get a train from there as well, and it will take you to Wenningpool. There's lots of options. There's definitely lots of options. Or you can just get on a fast train and go straight to Gardcity. Depends on what commuters want to do. It's funny, I joined the OpenTTD Discord last night. I've been a member of it for like 3 or 4 weeks now. But last night I thought I probably should actually say hi to people. So I introduced myself. And I was surprised at how many people knew who I was, first and foremost. That's always a nice feeling. But also, there was a guy there who said he's never seen someone care as much about speed limits as I do. And I wear that with a badge of pride in many respects. I think that's quite a cool thing to have. Is there a tunnel under here? Yeah. This is the Transrapid though, isn't it? So we can actually demolish that. Yeah, I wear that with a badge of pride. I care about speed limits. What's the speed? Speaking of speed limits, what's the speed limit actually going to be here? I think this needs to be like a tide arch. It's probably going to be 125 miles an hour, maybe 140. That's the tricky thing now, because the main link between Gardcity and Bahecity that isn't Transrapid or high speed is third rail, and the top speed you can have on that, if you're using electric trains, is 100 miles an hour. So we've kind of painted ourselves into a corner with that one. Whereas if we were using overhead electrification, we could go up to 140, maybe even higher. But then you don't want to go too high, because then you might as well just go into high speed territory again. So it's one of those things. I'm not too fussed about it though. I think it's cool. 100 miles an hour is pretty damn fast. People tend to take that for granted these days, but it's bloody fast still. You think how far a mile is, and then imagine doing 100 of those in an hour. That's what 100 miles an hour is. Okay, so we are going to carve a hole straight through this. Apologies to the good citizens of Luntberg. We'll build you a nice station to make up for it. But yeah, we're going to plough a hole straight through this little community. And from here, we're pretty much going to follow the Transrapid all the way up here to it is Wenningpool Acidalia, but it's in Neywood. Maybe we should rename it Neywood Acidalia. What do you guys think? Should we rename it or should we just leave it? Also, this. What I'm going to do is re-electrify, or convert all this to overhead, and this is essentially going to be our fast lines. Because it makes my life a little bit easier to do that. And then here is a really nice place for a station on the slow lines. Okay, I think I know what I'm going to do here. And then all of this is going to be done, and then... So at this point of the journey, there aren't going to be that many slow trains that come all the way up here. So I think we can do a straight 2 into 4. So if I demolish all this for a second, then we can go signal there. Leave it. Do you mean convert it? Let's just do concrete viaducts. We're boring. I'm actually going to go through at some point and rebuild some of the approaches to the Gardcity stations again, because I think you guys might remember a couple of weeks ago now, like 4 weeks ago I think it was, maybe even longer, I was ranting a little bit about the Ladbroke Grove rail crash, and I've finished reading the article on that. I'm not talking about that. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is in the article there was a diagram that showed the junction layout at Ladbroke Grove, and one of the things I realised from that is there's, I think it's still the same now, there's 6 tracks as you leave Paddington, and then once you get to Ladbroke Grove it goes down into, so you have 6 bi-directional lines, and then it goes down into the 2 fast and the 2 slow, and it's kind of like a mathematical formula in there. It's like number of tracks plus 2, that kind of thing. That's how you're supposed to do it. So that's what I'm going to do with Gardcity now, is I'm going to kind of go back and look at the tracks. So like if there's 6 slow platforms, then there should be 5 approach tracks, one of which is unidirectional in this case, so that we can get trains in and out. And then that should go down into 4, and then from 4 you can pretty much go down to 2, one in each direction. And that's a lot easier than what we've currently got, which is like 12 lines trying to bottle down into 3. And that's one of the reasons why capacity is so crap at the moment in Gardcity. It's because I did a really bad job of planning out pretty much all of those junctions. Oh, don't rename it. Gotcha. That reminds me. There's a couple of things, George, that you said you'd send through to me, which I don't think you did in the end. One of which was it something to do with capacity with the Great Western? To do with, I think it was to do with GSP. I'm scratching my memory here. If you can remember, that'd be great. Because I'm still keen on taking a look at that if you've got it. Hello Rusty, no problem, no problem. It will go up as soon as the stream's finished. It will be processed by YouTube and it will go up as a separate video. So if you can't stay now, you can always watch it later. That's no problem. Thanks for coming in anyway. I've found that having bi-directional sections into a terminus works well in the game. It does. I wish, and there probably is a way of doing it actually with signal logic, which I haven't found out yet, but I wish there was a way, like in real life, you kind of have virtual blocks now, so that you won't release a train into the block because there's nowhere for it to go after that block, if that makes sense. Whereas in the game you don't really have that, which is why I always have to have one line, normally the center line, sometimes left from center. I leave that one as unidirectional, so that there's always a route for trains to leave so it doesn't block the station. Because if you've got a 5-track approach to the station and then all the platforms are full and they're all trying to get into those 5 tracks, but all those 5 tracks are full because they've got trains waiting to go into the platforms, you end up with a deadlock, and that ain't fun. So if there was a way of doing that with signal logic, that'd be really helpful. And there probably is, because I've only recently found out about path penalties, which is a really useful tool to have in the game. It works a bit like the signalling on Factorio, which is kind of what I based the idea on actually. So on Factorio, if you try and route a train through a station stop, it adds like a path penalty So it always looks for the route that doesn't pass through a station, which is really handy. OpenTTD has a very similar setup in that trains won't pass through platforms if there's an avoiding line, which is really cool. But to actually have that with signals would also be great. So I use that now on the approach to the depot, just to the northeast of Plintbridge Parkway. I've got a nice little setup there now so that trains tend to use the little bypass track that I've built. But if that bypass track is full, instead of blocking the platforms at Plintbridge, I have a little path penalty on a signal on the other side, so trains cross over and enter the depot that way instead. And it just keeps the tracks from getting all clogged up. It's really handy. It's really handy. I highly recommend it. I might have to do a second tutorial video on that to explain it a little bit better. What was I talking about just now? I'm sure there was something really important that I was talking about and I've forgotten what it was. It's to do with signals. Basically, oh yeah. So like some kind of signal logic so that it reserves a path through a block is kind of where I'm doing a really bad job of explaining it. I was so looking forward to my stream tonight, and I think the excitement's got the better of me because I'm fumbling my words like nobody's business right now. So as the train is approaching the platforms, or approaching the approach tracks to the platforms, it doesn't just check the block in front of it, it will check the block in front of that as well. So if there's not two clear blocks, so in other words, if it can't find a platform from the first block, then it won't enter that section. So it means that trains that are in the platforms have a clear road out. Because at the end of the day, that is going to be how trains get in and out of the station, if there's a clear road. And if there isn't a clear road, then there's a problem. So that's what I want. I'm sure there's a way of doing it using signals. I'm sure there's a way for it to check the status of other signals. I just need to find a way to do that. If anyone knows, if anyone can first of all translate what the hell it is I just said, and then actually knows a solution to that problem, feel free to let me know, because that would be greatly appreciated. Okay, so this is going to be our little approach to Wenningpool. As you can see, we've got 5 tracks here, 6 track platform, that's correct, 6 platform station, then it goes down into 5, then it goes down into 4, and then from here it will go straight down into slow and fast, which I'm okay with. We'll do you there. We'll have another crossover here as well, just to fill that little bit in. And then we'll go one there. Actually, no, maybe not there. We'll do one there like that. That's basically our junction. And then it'll be slow, fast, slow, fast. And already we've got this little weird station set up here at Slondhatton. We'll put roads, I think, along here and then have them slope down into the town. Plus these level crossings, I think we'll replace those with bridges maybe. We'll have to rebuild a lot of this centre here to make it work. And then we've got the 2 tracks down this way that will then come along. So you will go to there, you will go to there, you will go to there, you will go to there. And then from here, you'll do something like this. Okay. And I think Luntberg Station will get built somewhere around here. This is all connected now, isn't it? Yes, it is. Good stuff. In that case, what we can do is clear out these waypoints. We'll rebuild them in a second. Clear all these signals. Oh, I've not even talked about the money thing yet. So again, not too long ago, I was complaining about money and how we were losing an eye-watering amount of money per month. Keen-eyed viewers might have already looked up at the finances screen at the top there. You can see it's not quite as bad as it used to be. So it was £31 trillion a month, and over 12 months that was 300 and something trillion, 400 and something trillion. The Atom Menagerie. Good evening. I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you? It's good to see some new faces in the stream tonight. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So we were losing like £400 trillion a year with this little hiccup. But you can see now it's dropped significantly to... It was 114. The month before that it was 138. I think the year before that it was 138. I think the year before that it was 160 something, then it was 190 something, then it was 240 something. So it's dropping by an exponential amount each time. What that tells me is it is a tax thing by the looks of it, and it's a tax thing depending on how much money your company actually has rather than how much money your company is actually making. Which I don't know if I like that or not. Because, okay, cheating is bad. But the reason I was cheating in money at the start of this series was because I'd put myself in a position where I couldn't afford the things I wanted to do because I scrapped the whole network and started again, sold all the trains, but we still had all the infrastructure and the maintenance and things like that. So I cheated in some money. But because I cheated in that money, it doesn't take that money and then take tax off it. It takes your total amount and then takes tax off it. So I was getting charged an eye-watering amount of money, and I took a huge gamble, like I think last week, and I just let the game play for a day. And you can see we had like 4 quadrillion. Now we're down to 523 trillion, which sounds like a lot, but trust me, it isn't. And you can see how much we've been losing every year. We're still in the black, so that's good, or still in the white in this case, because for some reason I suppose it makes sense. So it's all good in that respect, but I haven't been brave enough yet to let it go down to 0 and see what happens. So we don't know yet whether it will work out or not. Forgive me for pronouncing your name wrong, but Tian Smits, welcome to the stream. Is this the little Discord raid? As I say, it's very, very nice to see new people here. Everyone is very, very welcome. Can anyone remember what these platforms were for? I'm trying to remember now. Oh no, I thought I messed up then, but I don't think I have. Were these like commuter platforms? I can't remember. Off the top of my head, I cannot remember. I also need to remember what's going on here. So I think slow platforms... hang on. No, actually, I think I've got this right. I think slow platforms are here, and also here. Oh, yeah, no, I remember now. Yeah, I think I've done this slightly wrong. Or maybe I haven't. I can always rebuild this. Anyway, that's no problem. Can always rebuild it. Branch line platforms maybe. Could be. I think what it actually is a bit like what we have down at where the high-speed line connects up. So these are terminating platforms. So even though they're through platforms, inverted commas, they're actually used for terminating services. I think that's what we were doing here. It's like this line would go straight ahead still, pass over the lines coming in from over here, and then go up there. And then same on this side, it would like tunnel underneath here and connect up over here somewhere. Something like that. So I, in theory, can tick off the construction one, because we've done that. So what do we do next? Do we plan out the services between Bahecity and Gardcity, or do we plan out services on the Bahecity Commuter Belt? Well, we can't really do this one yet because we haven't built the stations. So I think that's next on the to-do list. It's actually build some stations. That'll probably work out quite well for us. So let's do that. I think I'm going to be lazy and build them all as island platforms. I really wish this game had a copy and paste feature. That would make life so much easier as well. So here's where we branch off. And then, yeah, the slow lines are on the outside, and then they move across to the east side. Above average pronunciation for an English speaker, so there's no need to apologise. Well, thank you very much. I try my best. I do try my best. I'm very good at French, if that helps. Probably doesn't. Got an A star in my French speaking exam way back when. I was like, bloody hell, 2008, I think that was. So 11 years ago. I'm old. I've just worked that out. I'm old. Let's build these signals in as well. I'm kind of glad the XVI guys aren't here right now because they always mock me for being old. And I'm just throwing fuel on the fire if I say it out loud. So we'll have a station here at Wenningpool because I think we promised them one as an apology for, you know, literally driving a rail line through their town. And then we can... I'm just seeing where I can build this station actually. It's not the best location. I suppose we can go here. And then we can start heading down towards, or heading up towards Wenningpool. So let's go with this. So we'll put you there. And we'll put you your Wenningpool Heights. Yeah, I did French and Spanish. Not to brag, but actually, what a great segue this is going to be. The XVI podcast returns tomorrow night, and the first episode is us, me, Ben, and Alex talking about our university life. So, George, since you've just started university, you might be interested in that one. Anyone else who's a university student or is about to go to university or has recently graduated from university, it's a good podcast to check out because we talk about our paths into university, so how we all got there, A-levels, B-techs, that kind of thing. Little tips and tricks that we've learnt on the way. They're not, like I say, it's not the most glamorous stories, like all of our stories really. I think Alex probably had the best story, the easiest story. Me and Ben have been a bit here, there, and everywhere. But yeah, it's the return of the XVI podcast basically. So anyone who's interested in podcasts and game development and things like that, I strongly suggest you check it out. Yeah, because I was part of an experimental year at school. So my school at the time were kind of experimenting with the idea of getting students to take their GCSEs a year early, and the kind of consequences that would have. So as a result of that, I did half my GCSEs a year early, and then I did the other half when I was supposed to. So because of that, I got 13 GCSEs. Normally you get like 10, sometimes slightly higher, sometimes slightly lower, whereas I got 13. Really unlucky number. Maybe that's why things haven't been working out for me since then. I jest, of course, but as a result of that, I did 2 languages, whereas you normally do 1. Rico de Jong, welcome to the stream. Alright, now I can be lazy and build island platforms, since it is pretty much both lines next to each other at this point. Let's go stairs, sign, and then some kind of shelter. Go with the modern one for now. 12's good. 12 is good. I mean, the trial I was part of was a success. So as a result of that, my school adopted the idea of doing GCSEs a year early. But I think they tweaked the system a little bit. Plus, like, I did SATs which don't exist anymore. Not in the conventional sense anyway. There's loads of other things that they've changed. It's hardly recognizable now. I find it hard because I've got cousins who are that age now, going into sort of GCSEs, A levels, things like that, and I don't understand a word they're saying when they tell me how it's done these days. It's very, very different. It's weird, like because I actually started my GCSEs in year 8, and you're not supposed to start them really until year 9, or you weren't back then. So, like, I did English language and I did literature in started in year 8, finished it in year 9. I did French 8, 9, and 10, and then Spanish in year 11. ICT business, I kind of spanned it across all those years. It's really weird how we did it. It was kind of successful in terms of we passed, but at the same time, it didn't really set us up for A level properly. So a lot of people who were in top set with me, when we then got to A level, we really struggled because we weren't set up for it. So I think in terms of that, it was a bit of a failure. But from what I've heard, they learnt from that and improved upon it. But it's not really nice to be a guinea pig, especially when you're at that stage of your life. You're trying to choose your life's decisions, and you've got people that are just toying around with ideas and using you as a test bed. It's not particularly great. I don't speak... I'm going to assume that's Dutch. I don't speak Dutch. I only happened in year 11 for you. In that, I guess it's an area thing as well, depending on where you are. Because I know that, well, I'm in Hertfordshire, but if you go slightly north to Bedfordshire, they have a completely different academic system to how we do things. I think they base theirs more on the American system than we do here. It's really weird. They should just standardise it. It's not really helping anyone. Like, even if you're a teacher and you move between areas, how are you meant to know what you're doing when all the terminology is different, all the curriculum's different? It's not exactly beneficial to anyone. So here's going to be our station site. So I think what I'm going to do is this and this. You're then going to come out, I think, like that. And then we're going to have a platform that runs through here, like so. You're going to be a bi-directional platform. And then this side will have a unidirectional, this side will have a unidirectional. So yeah, the British system is you have primary school, which is ages 4 to 10/11, and then you have secondary school, which is ages 10/11 to 16, and then you have sixth form college, which is 16 to 18. And when I was at school, sixth form was optional, whereas now I believe it's compulsory. You have to stay in school now till you're 18, which I think is okay. I don't know anyone who's strictly against it, but I also don't really know anyone who's strictly for it. So, mainly because I don't really know anyone of that age now, which is probably socially acceptable to say that. Whereas if I said it the other way around, that probably would have sounded a bit weird. Yeah, I don't really know many 16-year-olds beyond my own family, so I don't know for sure. I think that's a good station design. I've seen better, I've seen worse. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. So I'll have to signal all this up again, of course. So that and that. These ones here can get converted. And as for having more GCSEs, I don't know. It's not really helped me in life, because by the time you get to uni, no one cares about your GCSEs. But I suppose it's not a bad thing to be able to say. It's always nice to be able to say that, you know, I have more GCSEs than is the national average. You've always got that string to your bow. I think the first time after school that I heard GCSEs mentioned was when we were basically having a who's better at this like competition at uni, and someone brought up how many GCSEs have you got. It wasn't a convincing argument, let's put it that way. When you're throwing up things like that, you really are scraping the barrel somewhat. Yeah, A level is 16 to 18. So you do it's called an AS level first. So that's so when I was a kid, when you were 16, you were in year 11, and then at the end of that year, you could leave. Whereas 17, you're in year 12, and that's the first year of sixth form. And then when you're 18 is when you leave year 13, which is the final year of school, and that is A2. So AS is year 12, A2 is year 13. So I actually did AS levels at school, and then I left to go to college to do an engineering diploma. And I didn't do my A2s. But again, I came out of that alright, so I'm not too fussed. And this is when it gets really murky, because when I left school I didn't do AS levels anymore, or A2 levels. I did something called a BTEC, which is a national diploma. So I have 13 GCSEs and a diploma. Well, I have 13 GCSEs, a diploma in engineering, and a degree in interactive media design. I got a pretty good CV, and I'm a director of a business. So, hey ho. I think that's the thing. Like, if you're gonna mess it up, at least standardize it everywhere so that everyone's on the same page still. Whereas over here, it's so confusing. You literally cross the county line, and you talk to someone about school, and they had a completely different experience to you. And the UK isn't that big, so the fact that you're like 10 miles up the road, there's someone who's had a completely different academic experience to me. If they had moved at some point during their school life, they could have ended up going to a school where they wouldn't have had a clue what was going on. And I think that's bad that we have that. Yeah, BTEC's good. BTEC rules, as far as I'm concerned. I did a BTEC. Nothing wrong with the BTEC. People always look down on BTECs at unis. And actually, that's the subject, one of the subjects that we talk about in the podcast tomorrow. BTEC versus A level, because there's no right or wrong answer really, in truth, but we have our own personal bias. So for me, a BTEC is more hands-on experience. So a BTEC in engineering, which is what I did, I was in the workshop every other day pretty much. So I learned how to do spot welding, I learned how to program CNC machines, I learned how to do 3D CAD modeling, really useful skills like that. What we didn't do so much of was the theory-based stuff. So when I went to uni, I was really good at the hands-on modules. You know, I was getting firsts in those, but the theory stuff and the advanced mathematics, I wasn't doing as well on. And I used to love maths as well, so that was a difficult one to take for lots of different reasons. But we used to play a game called Spot the A-level student, because you walk into a workshop and you know they're picking up hammers and asking the tech, can they explain how a hammer works? And I don't want to look down on people. I don't think that's particularly fair. But at the time, because we'd spent 2 years being told we weren't good enough because we did BTECs and not A levels, it was nice to have that little one-upmanship going on. But it's easy to each their own. There's no right or wrong way of doing it these days. Yeah, they are equivalent, inverted commas. In theory, they are. In practice, not so much. we have a little bit of that as well. We have something called a foundation year. So a couple of guys I went to college with, I mean, I got lucky in many respects because I did not do any work in my first year of college. I was terrible. Probably shouldn't have passed, but somehow I did. And then in the second year I found out that the uni gave scholarships to people who had a certain grade or higher. So at that point I went back and redid all of my first year work so I could get that scholarship. And because I got the scholarship, I didn't have to do a foundation year. But some people who I went to college with went to a different uni to me, and they had to do a foundation year. So it's like entry-level university stuff. The argument used to be BTEC versus GNVQ. Yeah. How times have changed. I think they've just, to use a video game term, they've just reskinned it over here. So like O levels are now GCSE. I think A levels were always called A levels, but like they're the same thing, just a different name. Like there's nothing special about them now. They haven't suddenly become this OP qualification. They're pretty much exactly the same as they've always been, just with a different name tacked on. It sucks. There's a lot of academic institutions over here that just do not want to help students. They only care about the numbers, and even then, the numbers can go against them, and then they'll find another excuse. It's all about satisfaction figures. So they don't care about you unless you're happy, and then they care about you. Even once you graduate. So I graduated September last year. Big celebration, very nice day. And up till last week, I was still getting phone calls and emails from the uni asking me to do surveys, graduation surveys. Have I got a job? Am I happy in life? Like really deep personal stuff, which quite frankly, I was in a meeting. I was in a company meeting when I got that email, and sort of had to stop for a minute and take stock and just think, what have they asked me? It's very, very intrusive. Very intrusive. Oh yeah, where did we say we were going to build? Oh yeah, up here. That's fine. Let's do this and this. Shake things up a little bit. I am barely catching them, you're right. The plan is... So, again, this is a good opportunity for a segue, because I've been doing some thinking. Bus routes are not my forte. In sort of... So, like Gardcity, I did okay with the bus network there, because I treated it like a tram system, basically. And I started thinking, how would the trams go? Like, what routes would they take? What stops would they call out? How far apart would those stops need to be? And I built my entire infrastructure around that. And it kind of works. But buses are really not my thing. So, as well as getting the M4J Discord up and running, one of the things I was going to test was setting this up as a multiplayer game. But I've read that it's not just as cut and dry as you activate something somewhere and it becomes an online game. You have to open ports and all kinds of things, which again aren't really my specialty. I'm very much a mechanical thinking person, not so much electrical or computer science. But if there's anyone out there who's better at buses than I am and wants to help me set up bus networks that connect all these stations together, feel free to get in touch. I've been putting these stations on the wrong line. I've just noticed. That sucks. I'm going to be catching even less of the towns now because we're on the wrong side of the tracks, quite literally. But yeah, multiplayer is something that I've always wanted to do with this game. At the time it wasn't to do with this series, but I think this is a good opportunity to actually try that out. Because it'll be really cool when I'm streaming. I can just build the line, and then someone else can put the stations in for me, and then someone else can plan out the services for me. Or, if I build the stations, someone else can connect them all up to the neighbouring towns and cities, and build the bus lines for me, in other words. And that'd be really cool, really helpful. But at the same time, there's a lot of trust involved. Let's do that. So I've played another game on this channel called Cities in Motion 2, and when I first started playing that, I was very bad at planning out routes. And even, I think, was it last year? I can't even remember what it was now. When I brought the series back, I was awful at planning bus routes. I just placed loads of random stops, roughly linked them together with lines, and then it all fell apart very, very quickly. So I had a look at like real life examples. So here in London, we don't have out and back type routes. So I went up to Cambridge quite recently and got a bus there, and it's very much, you start at point A, you end up at point B, but you go via C, D, E, F, G, so on and so forth. But in America, they have more linear type lines. So you'll start at A and you'll go straight to B, and then you'll go back to A again. And that's kind of what tram lines do. So buses, for me, were always this circular type thing, where if you stayed on the bus long enough, you'd end up back where you started. But you wouldn't just go out and back. You'd go around and serve a wide range of areas. So I started doing it the other way, which is you treat it like a linear travel in a straight line kind of thing. So in Gardcity, we've got a bit of both. We've got some lines that go straight out somewhere and back. We've got some lines that loop around, and then we've got some lines that go from a major station into a suburb via a straight line, and then once they get to that suburb, they loop around. So it's kind of the best of everything, really. And it kind of works. It needs redoing, but it kind of works. So I'm basically admitting I need someone who knows what they're doing, really, because my methods don't really work for that kind of thing. I'm very much a railway builder. I'm good at this sort of stuff. I'm not so good at that sort of stuff. So what's the speed limit going to be here? It's probably going to be 20. So 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100, 110, 120. Maybe we'll do a speed limit of maybe 110 actually. 110 should be fine. That's not where I wanted to place that at all. Does that work? No. There is a way, there's a button you can press that, a bit like with track if you hold control, but I can't remember what it is. There's another one I've missed. Currently playing Bus Simulator on PS4, which you have to plan routes, although the stops are set out for you. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people play that as well. They kind of do the same thing. Some people do roundabout type routes, some people do out and back type routes. In my hometown, there's one hub where all the buses either start or go via, and then go out to the suburbs, such as the industrial estates, housing developments, etc. Yeah, bus rapid transit is another one. So if there's anyone out there who wants to check out my Cities in Motion 2 series, I think it was called M4J Transport. It finished a while ago now, so I'm trying to remember exactly what it was called. But we did a little bit of everything there. So we built trolley lines, which I built like tram lines, and then we did bus rapid transit, which kind of worked like tram lines, but I did have a lot of like spurs that jutted out to different parts of the city. Eventually I just built loads of hubs where all the buses converged in a specific area of the city, and then connected all of those hubs together using trams, monorail, metro, things like that. And this, yeah, I'm planning coaches on this series too. How many waypoints do I need? Was it 20? So 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and I think we'll just make it 75 on the slows. Saves me a job of having to place loads of waypoints. There we go. I kind of feel like we should have some waypoints on these bridges, and then we don't have to have as many here. I don't know. Maybe we should. I'm a real ditherer, as you can tell. Sounds like you're 6. So then you're also 6. Yeah, this is at the stage where I was actually measuring these things out. Because once upon a time, I didn't. And wasn't the smartest move I've ever made. So we'll put these here. 3, 4, and 5. And then here we can just go like that, and then we don't need these two, and we don't need those two. There we go. Right. Coaches are much bigger in the UK. Again, very much depends. I know you. Oh, I've forgotten the name of the company now. But yeah, coach travel, particularly mainland Europe, because everything's on the same island, pretty much. So it's a lot easier to just get on a coach somewhere and get off somewhere else. Whereas in the UK, to travel to another country on a coach, you have to get on a boat as well. So it's not as popular. We do have coaches over here, like National Express is big over here. In fact, they're so big over here that they own rail companies over here now as well. National Express not so much now, but Stagecoach do. And there's probably other ones. Is it Fernbus? Is that the word I was thinking of? When was the last time the chat was this active? Yeah, well, come on, George. We're supposed to be painting a picture of positivity here. I don't know. I mean, the last stream before my break was pretty busy. We had about 7 different people come in. One day, I'd like to be able to stream to, you know, a couple of hundred, maybe. But, as I say, this is a very niche area of gaming. It's becoming more and more popular now, and there's less of a stigma around transport and railways than there used to be. It's kind of becoming more trendy. But I'm not expecting huge numbers each week. It always makes me laugh when I go on Reddit. And I go on the YouTube Reddit communities that I've joined. I mainly go on there to pick up editing tips and things like that. But I see so many people who leave posts. Like they'll post something saying, you know, I uploaded my first video last week. When can I get monetized? And I always want to say to them, never if you go in with that attitude. That is not the right attitude to have when you start a YouTube channel. You don't just hold your hand out and ask for the money immediately. You've actually got to work for it. City Skylines public transport is much less in depth. Oh, I like Cities in Motion more than I like City Skylines with that, because City Skylines, the base game without mods, even without some of the DLC, the transport was so bad, so bad. They kind of took the SimCity 4 approach to transport, which was you place down some stuff and then the game just does the rest for you. Yeah, I mean, some people play OpenTTD to a large audience. Depends on what you do. I know that especially my style of play in OpenTTD is not the most popular, and I'm okay with that. Really, I didn't used to be. I'll be honest. I used to hate the fact that my channel wasn't as big, because when I played Cities in Motion, I had a huge surge of subscribers, and then for various reasons that series stopped, and my channel took a huge hit when that happened. So there's been down times, let's say, but at the end of the day, I like what I'm doing. I enjoy what I'm doing, and I wasn't enjoying Cities in Motion anymore because it turned into a bit of a toxic community. So this is good. I like this, and you get to chat to people one-on-one about different things. You get to meet people with the same sorts of interests as you, and it's just a nice community type feel, which is what I want my Reddit community to be, and it's also what I want my Discord community to be. It's just like-minded people chatting about shared interests. You can't really go wrong when you do that. And who cares about 20,000 subscribers? I mean, some people do, obviously, but wrong attitude. That's what I'll always say, is wrong attitude. If you go in just wondering where the money is, you'll never find it. Alright, let's ruin this perfectly good station that I built by adding these needless crossovers. So I think these two tracks here might end up being something a little bit different, like maybe an actual branch line that just happened to converge with the main line here. Let's build you there. It was positive if you read the rest of the message. No, I know what you were saying, George. I know what you were saying. It's just, it's kind of like if you open a new bar and after like 3 or 4 weeks you end up with hundreds of people in your bar, and then your regular comes in and goes, oh, it's normally just me and such. It starts to paint the picture of maybe the bar isn't as good as everyone thinks it is, you know? It's a really bad analogy, I'll admit. I want anyone who's new to the stream, I want them to think this is a fine drinking establishment and not just something terrible. Your city sim, it's difficult to have an OpenTTD level. Well, that's where I got. I think that's where my disappointment came from, because it's the same dev team that made Skylines as who made Cities in Motion, and Cities in Motion 2 was a really good transport game. It had a few issues, a few bugs, but it was a good all-round transport game. And then Skylines, they kind of took that really good formula that they developed and they just sort of threw it out the window and said, no, we'll do it differently this time. And I didn't feel like it was good enough to justify doing it differently. They've fixed it a lot with the DLC. Like mass transit was a huge change. Plus the modding community have done a really good job making the game more polished and more fun. But I don't know, I just felt a little bit let down by some of the aspects of it. Not to the point, like, I'm not one of those people that wants their money back or anything like that. I just felt like it could have been better than what it ended up being. Still a good game. I do play it still from time to time, not as much as I used to. I streamed it recently, in fact, and I always want to like get back into it and start a new series and get really pumped for it, and then one thing leads to another and you end up kind of just back where you started again. Oh, that was the last city I built on Skylines. I thought I had a really good water system, kept sewage away from the pumps and everything. And it turned out I'd built my water pumps on a river that very quickly dried up. That caused some issues. That was my own fault because I wasn't watching what I was doing. But even so, half my city died because of that. So that was fun. It's kind of like RimWorld when that happens. Like just everyone dies. Everybody dies. I agree, Rico. City Skylines is much better for localized sorts of things, whereas OpenTTD very much in-city based stuff. I'm still trying to work out what this line was. I don't know. It's the short answer to that. I do not know. Oh, maybe this was terminus platforms for this line. Maybe. I feel like I should actually integrate that into the build. So if we do this instead, something like that, and then that, and then I swear there's church bells ringing outside my window. I don't live near a church. How's that possible? Oh yeah, Skylines. Some people on Skylines have way too much time on their hands, and I say that with the utmost respect. It is insane, some of the things that people can build on that game. Yeah, it's just crazy. And it's one of those things, like Planet Coaster, I'm only just starting to learn how to do detailed builds like that. And it's something like Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, I could do it. But Planet Coaster kind of took that and threw it out the window in terms of what you could and couldn't do. In a good way. So I'm only really getting to grips again with how to build detailed thematic elements. And then I look at Skylines and I just think I probably shouldn't even start attempting to learn that, because there's no way in hell I'd be able to do it. No, I'm literally doubting myself on everything I'm doing here. I'm going to do it this way instead. There we go. Yeah, at the moment I'm kind of putting off doing the planning of services right now, because it's something, it'll be quite heavy and quite detailed, and I don't think I can get Google Sheets up on OBS without changing some of my graphic settings, which I haven't done on this PC, so I don't know how to do it yet. Lots of videos online on the official channel show you how to build it better than SimCity. I liked aspects of SimCity. I liked SimCity 4, but I didn't like everything about SimCity 4, and the less said about SimCity 2013, I think the better. They whiffed that one big time. I don't understand how you could get a game so wrong. But then I do also think a lot of video game fans these days, they're very quick to complain when they don't get what they want, but a lot of the time now they don't really know what that is that they're wanting. So they know they haven't got it, but they don't know what it is. I always find that like an empty argument. Four was good. My favourite was SimCity 2000. That was kind of, and 3000. I think I even when SimCity 4 came out, I preferred playing the previous one because it just felt more fun. Alright, we're going to connect this underneath like so. Have we got enough room to connect before this station? I don't think we do. Looks like we're going to have to use programmable signals. Which again, I'm kind of okay with that. As long as I remember to actually do it, of course. If I forget to do it, then we're in trouble. So signal would go there and there, and then we'll just build you straight across. We won't go with the fancy junctions, although we might go fancy junction here. Something like that. That ought to do it. And then you, and then turn you into a pass signal. There we go. So yeah, SimCity 4 was good. I like SimCity 3's highway system a lot better. What I didn't like about SimCity 4 is I felt like video game technology had developed enough that they could have put more into like the cars, the people of the city and their daily routine, which is something that Skylines does do really well. I feel like SimCity 4 had the opportunity to do that, and they didn't take it. And then SimCity 5, they kind of added it in with, school buses and stuff like that. But by then it was kind of too little too late. Especially like SimCity 4 had the rush hour expansion, and then they just didn't really utilize it that well. It's really weird. It's hard to put your finger on. I'm just trying to work out how this line's going to be integrated. We won't worry about that for now. That's probably the easiest way of solving that problem. It's just pretend it doesn't exist. Wasn't I in the middle of renaming stations? I think I've done all these ones. So we come down here. You can just be Fenbourne Cross. In fact, we'd probably call you East, because this place looks big enough that we'll have another station here somewhere, I'm sure. Actually, yeah, Woods is fine for that one as well. You, though, can just be... I want to say Mindstone, but that's very Avengers. I think we'll just call you Minstone. You are not even in the town that you're named after. You're Fruithingfield. You're just Wonston. And again, Wonston really needs bigger station than that. That's where a good bus network will come into it. And trams, just to get people moving around. Okay, and then down here to Radeon, which is fine. Again, I'll need to program those signals. Sarfingburg, yeah, east is fine. Take out the north from here. Take out the west from here, even though it's technically true. So yeah, there's going to be a rail junction here somewhere. I think that was for a branch rather than a main trunk route. So George, I hope you've had some time to think about services, because I'll be calling on you in a second. Waypoints I won't worry about right now down here either. This is the monstrosity that is Fort Bredborough Celestial Airport, which makes it sound like this is where you get like the galactic spacecraft up into the Mars from, but that's not what it means. Basically all the high-speed stations on the network have got celestial type names, and I think at this point I'd run out of celestial type names, so I just used celestial as the name. That's why there are things like Apollonia, Acidalia, Superion, can't even, Taurina is one of them. What are the rest called? something along those lines. They got very astrological type names. And then over here we've just got Celestial Airport, and then GSG is just GSG. So yeah, we're going to plan out some services now, from the north of Bahecity to the south of Bahecity, and then also from Bahecity to Gardcity, using some of these lines. So that's why I wanted to get all this done first, because once the stations are in... oh, this one's even worse, look at that. Tranquility, that was a good one, as in the Sea of Tranquility. Yeah, some of these station designs are a lot nicer than others, let's put it that way. And I actually can't remember where this line was going to go, but I think what I will do here is just curl it round and have it join up here and go into Central. and then maybe have one line each side that goes across. Something like that. It'll be something like that. And this would be good to have those approach line block booking type thing as well. Make life a little bit easier here. I'd forgotten how convoluted I'd actually built all this. So this route here, I think, is the one that goes down to Drentbourne. Let's just check. Drentbourne is here. So Drentbourne will get rebuilt once the services have been planned. Kind of getting an idea as to how many trains will be coming through the station. Then we can rebuild the station to meet that demand, basically. So George has already designed this for me. I might need you to resubmit it. In fact, George, so I can find it, because going through Reddit, there'll be hundreds of posts on my Reddit community now, so it'll make it a little bit tricky. But if you either repost it on Reddit or email it to me, or actually, there's a good idea, post it on Discord, on the M4J Discord, so I can see the design, and then I can rebuild this as a time lapse for a 0.5 episode, which might even be for Monday. It'll either be this Monday or next Monday, depending on how much time I have over the weekend. So we'll rebuild this, and then we can start actually getting trains running between these two cities. So what ideas do we have for service patterns? I'm just thinking these bridges really should be shorter, and then we can build a bigger junction, but then we're demolishing a lot of houses to do that. It's really tricky. Also, this is all going to be third rail, isn't it? South of Bahecity is going to be third rail all the way. So we'll do OHE north of Bahecity, and then we'll do third rail south of Bahecity, and then here will be the switchover. Because we will have some trains, like the Javelins can convert. I'm sure we'll have a lot of diesel trains that can run on both. Plus, you know, the 319s, the 377s, the 313s. I don't think they're in the game actually, the 313s, but it'd be cool if they were. It's kind of a shame that BR Trains isn't being supported anymore, and its successor seems to have ground to a halt. Because there's a lot of British trains that are missing, which I really would like to see at some point. So hang on, before we do the commuter belt, let's plan out the fast services between the two capitals first. Do I really want to re-electrify all this now? I probably should, otherwise I'll forget. So while I'm doing this, George, have a think about Gardcity to Bahecity. Whether we're going to use the route via Kingston or the route via... Well, they both go via Drentbourne actually, but the route via Kingston to Drentbourne or the route via Tarnway and Funston to Drentbourne. And then from there, it's pretty much the same route to Bahecity. And then stopping patterns, whether we're going to have some that go direct between the two or will they always stop along the way. I'm kind of torn on that one. Why are you really long? I think this was when I was right back at the end of the Majeffries network this line was built. So it's built for APTs, which we're just not using down here. This is when I decided that every route needed crossovers as well. Oh man. You wouldn't believe, like, you look at this, you wouldn't think it's the same person that's built all this stuff. Just feels really different. What about some that go Gardcity to Bahecity non-stop? I like that idea. I like that idea. They all go via Kingston, George. Rico, no problem. Thanks for coming in. It's very nice to see you. So it'll be the same time next week, the next stream, if you want to drop in then as well. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you around on the OpenTTD Discord as well. So yeah, it'd be whether it goes via Denston. Oh wait, you said Denston. Not, I thought you said Drentbourne for some reason. My apologies. Yeah, so it'd be via Denston. Okay. I think we should have one minimum semi-fast service that goes via wait. Do you want them all to go via Denston? I was going to say you have one semi-fast service, maybe two semi-fast services that go via Denston, and then have all the rest go via Tarnway and Funston, because it's a 4-track main line all the way, whereas the route via Denston isn't. This is hard. This is really hard. How the hell do you plan all this out? Aha, so this is where the electrification stops, but we're going to start it again. Couple could go via Tarnway. See, we're thinking the opposite. Because Denston is going to be quite busy anyway, because it's the cross-country hub and the cross-region hub, plus it's the southern end of the Great Eastern franchise, plus it's going to have other electric services from Gardcity that terminate there. So I kind of feel like that should be the diversion route for this. So this is Gardcity Southeastern, isn't it? The direct ones. And then Southeastern from... actually, that's another good point, because Southeastern can't go all the way up to Wenningpool. That's way too far north. We're going to have to come up with a few new franchises for this, by the looks of it. Half and half could work. I'm just really cautious about oversaturating Denston, because the station itself could probably cope with it, but I don't think the approach tracks could. Even with the 4 tracks that we've now got, I think it's still too many. What do you think, Frank? Yeah, that could work. Yeah, that could definitely work. So I think Tarnway and Funston be the main connection. And then have some... Hang on, I'm just concentrating on this as well, so I don't mess this up. So Tarnway and Funston be the main route, and then have 2 semi-fast-ish services that go via Denston, and then have additional services between Denston and Bahecity, because we don't have many services coming in from the south, but we have a lot coming in from the north, so that does make a lot of sense. I like that idea. Right, so all of this is going to be dual voltage. Probably up to there. And then both of these to there. And then that and that. But then this one here, you're going to be 3rd rail. That one and that one. these lines won't exist. They're getting cut back. Dual power. Okay, and then all of this will be dual voltage. We might as well do these sidings here as well as dual voltage. There we go. So now if we go back to third rail. Alright, we'll go with that. That's a good strategy, if I do say so myself. I said I don't want it to feel like I'm forcing ideas on people, but at the same time, like, I want everyone to have their say, basically. But it still has to be a functional plan at the same time. So let me save the game quickly, and then we'll start planning out. So I think I'm going to pin this, whoops, here, Bahecity Central. So you're the southeastern terminus, and then we're going to go back up to GSMA, which is somewhere up here, over here. You're going to be the northwestern terminus, like so. And now we're going to plan out services. So we need a name for the franchise, unless we're just going to put it under Gardcity it's Gardcity Southeastern, wasn't it? And then you. Ticks per minute, that's all fine. Now I've just got to reset all this. I'm getting good at this. I can do this quite quickly these days. Used to take forever. Here we go. Reset all you, and then reset this last little bit here, and then we can start planning out. So things like how frequent are these trains going to run? How long are they going to wait at each station? They're the kind of things that we're going to be looking for now. So it's that and that. Let me just put an asterisk over these again so I can remember. And then train frequency in minutes and total waiting time, or time waiting, sorry, not total waiting time. I think they're the variables. So for those of you wondering what I'm doing right now, there's a link in the description to the service schedule sheet. If you head over there, you'll be able to see what I'm doing. You're right, Kurt. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You missed all the fun, mate. We had loads of people from the OpenTTD Discord join. It's probably been the busiest stream. Probably in the history of the M4J network, that's for sure. Maybe not so much in the history of the channel, because Twitch, I used to get like 30 odd people watching. Those were good days. Anyway, so Gardcity St Mark be the first stop. Should we just do a straightforward one to the other? Bahecity Central. We'll kick off with that. So service type express. So as well, if this is the Gardcity Southeastern franchise, this will be all the local services as well running on this line. But we'll start off with this one. Let's go 1GXX. Gardcity Southeastern. Train type, no idea yet. Probably EMU. So we've got the two depot ones at the bottom here. And I think like 45 minutes at each, maybe an hour. We can do that. What's the frequency going to be? Every half hour? Does that sound alright? I think we'll do that to start with. It's telling me estimated number of trains 6. I think we're going to need a lot more than that at the end of this, but we'll start with that. So next, if we copy everything that we've got here, paste it here, you'll be 1BXX. So this one's going to be more of a well, slower, not completely slow. So I think we'll still skip out a few stations. So if we follow the line this way, keep going down, keep going down. So Tarnway and Funston we're going to stop at. And then probably Drentbourne, retire, and then Bahecity, because I think that's the next main station. I can't remember, it's south. Oh, it's Waterside. Alright, we'll stop at Waterside as well. Oops, capitals, Mark. Gotta remember your capitals. Then I think it's Drentbourne. We won't stop here at Nunville. I like that station design though. I think we should do that somewhere else. There we go. Drentbourne, retire. And then Bahecity Central. 2 for the depot, and then along. So let's say 5 minutes at each of these. And then 45 there, 30, 60. You are then going to be like that. Why has everyone stopped talking? That's slightly concerning. Okay, now I think we should replicate the one that we've just done, but have it stop at more stations along the way. This is where I wish we had more kind of like bypass routes as well. So like have a line here that branches off, maybe even joins up like that. That would actually be kind of cool. But like branches off, does its thing, and then comes back again, like the Fort Flonwood loops that we've got. Yeah, it's gone deathly quiet in the chat. Oh dear. Too good to be true. So let's say the first stop. I'm sure I've gone past one. There's one here. Grentown Interchange. Do we want it? Is that too close? I think that's too close. So hang on, let's paste this again. And we'll do like one. Actually, instead of 1G and 1B, let's do 1A. And then 1G. Actually, no, 1B's fine. Now 1G. So we're going to be GSMA. Sounds good. What sounds good? I say lots of things, and then there's a huge delay on the chat, and then someone just says sounds good, and then like I can't remember what that was. Should we stop at Munton? I don't know. I don't think we should connect with the overground. That's the thing. I think we should leave that for another time. So like somewhere down here. Here. Ginway. Mind you, you're very close to there. Alright, we'll do Munton and then Ginway. Then Tarnway and Funston. Then... yeah, I think we should stop at Mondham as well, even though it's the next station. Like that. Yeah, Hartberg, because there's a junction there. And then we don't turn off. That's where I keep going wrong, because I keep following the wrong line. Waterside Airport. Now, should this one stop here? I don't know, I just don't think it's the best idea. The diversion plan. Oh, I mean, that wasn't an actual proposal. That was kind of me just saying I wish we'd had done this. Certainly not building it tonight if we are do that. If we are do that. Wow, that made no sense. If we are doing that. Do you know what? Screw it. We'll stop at Nunville as well. I'm feeling reckless tonight. Then, Wennington. I think we might skip out Farnborough, but we'll stop here at Kenninghead Central. Yeah, we've got to make sure that these trains don't block the other trains, but I've got a good plan for that. Then Drentbourne. And then... do we have... oh yeah, we've got this one here. Great Pundinghattan. And then Bahecity. Oh yeah, forgot about Senningbury. Actually, no, that one won't stop there. This one will. Okay, and then gap 2 for the depot, and then like that. And then all of these will be 5s. Although I don't like that either. Munton and Ginway are probably going to be 2s. Mondham 2, Hartberg 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 5, 45, 30, 60. Okay. Happy with that. Yes. Yeah, we're gonna all the services between Gardcity and Bahecity we're doing tonight. E. So this one is going to be a semi-fast rather than express. Whoops. Guess you can't spell. There we go. So you're going to run GSMA. Now this one we're going to plan out now is going to run via Kingston. So we're going to go all the way back up here. There we go. So you're going to run south this way onto the fast lines here. Are we going to stop at Drentbourne? I don't think we will. So we're going to run all the way down this way. I think we will stop at Cadingbury. And hope that these Gardcity Connect trains don't get in the way. So then after here, I think the next stop's going to be Bathurst Street. Fort Mason. Oh wow, I've got my Factorio video went up tonight. I was wondering why my app thing just activated. So yeah, George, let me know if you don't have access to main hub on the Discord, and I'll change the roles so that you can. Then you can post the stuff that you said you'd send through. It probably will be maybe another hour. It depends though. Like I said, we go for as long as we go. If it's getting too long, then we'll probably wrap things up and finish it off next week. Draining head east. This is why I needed help from you guys to come up with some ideas. So like while I'm doing this one, if you guys put your heads together and come up with ideas for the next lot of services, particularly running from the north to the south through Bahecity, that'd be a big help. Kingston, Carnegie, and then there was that other station down here somewhere, wasn't there? This one, Wanborough. Whoops. How close is Drentbourne? I think we could stop here as well. Fentown West. And then Drentbourne. Like that. And then along this way to... where are we? Up here. Great Punding Hatton. And then into Bahecity. So these are going to be identical. There we go. I'm okay with that. So 5 minutes there. Probably 2 minutes there and there. 5 minutes at Kingston. 2 minutes here and here. 5 at Drentbourne, 2, 5, 45, 30, 60. Do our black line across the bottom. Make sure this is all calculating properly. There we go. Could we have a GSMA to Fort Mason service? Yes, we can. Can indeed. So that's pretty much all the Gardcity to Bahecity services for now. We might have some coming from the top as well in the future. So I think, weren't we going to connect over to Nut Hill or something at one point? Plus, I mean, this line, there's a million ways this line can connect up to Gardcity, and that's not including high speed and things like that even. So we got all that. Bahecity Central, it just looks too small, doesn't it? Just looks too small. Might move, can't really move it left or right because everything here is lined up perfectly. I don't know. I do not know. But yeah, now we're going to go over to Gardcity again, and we're going to start planning out some of the services from Gardcity out to the southeast. What about stopping service between Bahecity and the airport? Yeah, so that'll be a different franchise. That'll be probably Bahecity Northwestern or something like that. As you can tell, I'm very creative with my names. Do you have some reference material for your network? In what sense? Like, in terms of inspiration, it's a little bit of everything. So I don't have a specific place that I go to get inspiration. But if you go to the description down below, all the information sheets, the links are there, speed limits, service schedules, it's all down there. It's all on Google Sheets. So you can feel free to check those out. But yeah, in terms of inspiration, not really. It spawned from watching Zest Husky back in the day, and then it's just grown and grown and grown into what it is now. Now, as I say, it focuses very heavily on realism and stuff like that. Oh, if you go on my website, and again, links in the description, you can go on my website and download this map as of 2 episodes ago, I think it was. So you can play around in this yourself and see. Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, it's mainly like long-term viewers who know what I'm asking for. But perhaps I should cater it a little bit more for new people. Yeah, if you download the map, that's the best place to go. The information sheet as well has a list of all the lines and all the stations on those lines. So there's lots of little things like that. But yeah, that's good feedback. Thank you for that. Wow, Shoreham is massive. I've just realised 52,000 people. Spans all the way over to here. That is huge. Meanwhile, Drentbourne Bridge, tiny. Yeah, I'm hoping he comes back. Sounds like he had quite a busy work life, and that kind of got in the way a little bit. But he was the inspiration for my original OpenTTD series. He was the one who was closest, really, to the sort of playstyle that I used to have. Even now, I'd still watch his stuff, no problem. But, yeah, I'd like him to come back. I think I talked to him once about a collaboration. I think it was him. There was another OpenTTD YouTuber that I talked to about doing a collab one day, which never happened, unfortunately. But yeah, no problem. Have it downloaded the map. That's a very recent thing, the new map. That was, what, 2-3 weeks ago, I think that went live. So always looking to see those figures as well. George and Frank, what ideas have we got for services from GSMA? Using not just this line through New Rennington, but also the line through Shoreham and down towards Denston. So I suppose we should do that one, really, shouldn't we? GSMA to Denston. That'd be a good one to do. Let's move this to here. Yeah, actually one of the series that I'm planning for the not too distant future, which George is helping out with, is route overviews. So you'll be able to watch all of the routes and get to learn all the stations, see all the train services, things like that. So there'll be text at the bottom, there'll be a voice overlay, stuff like that. So it should be really good. But I need a lot of help to do that because I can't really do it all by myself. So George is making the maps for me, which is a big help. Much appreciated. But yeah, I need voiceover artists or people who are just willing to lend their voice to the project, as well as my own. I think I'll do like one route. I don't want to do them all because I kind of want it to be a community-made thing. This is what, semi-fast service? So GSMA, next stop probably Drentbourne. Yeah, we'll do Drentbourne next. Wenningpool East. And then we'll hop down to Cadingbury Junction. It's all the way over here. And then Wimbledon. And then Bathurst Street. Oh God, my typing is all over the place tonight. Bathurst Street, Fort Mason. Then Drenninghead East. And then I think Denstone Carnegie. I can't spell. There we go. 2 for the depot. So we need to find a depot site for all this as well. I was thinking the one we have down at Kenville Airport, maybe repurposing that and just using that. That could work. Let's do half hour for these. Oh yeah, also this one. This one? No. This one. Have this one run every hour rather than every half hour. That's better. That's much better. Right. 30, 60. Make sure this is set up properly. 56. Okay, so we're kind of doing the opposite to what we normally do. Normally we plan out the slow services first and then add the fast ones, but I kind of like this way around. All stop at a Cadingbury. Yep, we'll put that on the list. We'll probably do that one last, or we'll do the all stoppers last, because I think that would be easier to remember. I think. So now, what I want to do, and again I've got to be careful here because these platforms here, they're going to be used for Great Southeastern. Sorry, Gardcity Southeastern and Gardcity Southwestern, so we don't want to clog them up too much, because down here, when we get to Sibitsham, some of the Southwestern services will branch off, and then when we get to Drentbourne and down through Buntbourne and places like that, following this line, this is all going to be Gardcity Southwestern. That's the overground, that's completely different. This way. Buntbourne Parkway, Buntbourne Town. So we will have some crossover, like there might be a southeastern train that comes this way and then turns this way. We might have that one terminate at Cadingbury Junction, but the rest of them are all going to head west, down through Munfingford and then down towards Plenborough and places like that. So we're trying not to oversaturate all of this too much, but having said that, we do want to, particularly this line here, this is all going to be Gardcity Southeastern, so we want to fill it up as much as we can. We don't want empty lines. That's basically what the network's going to be now as well, is every single line out of Gardcity, we want a train on it like every 30 seconds. Really, really pump it full of services and actually get it going, but not release them all at the same time. That's the thing. We got to plan it out methodically rather than going in all guns blazing and then wondering why it doesn't work. So if we do... Hang on, let me move my live stream tab over there so I can read the chat and do the service schedule at the same time. So if we come out of GSMA, let's say this train goes to Denston. That's probably a good place to terminate it. So we could do a... ignore Munton. Maybe here, Grentown interchange. Keep the ideas coming in though, guys. That's good stuff. If you have the game open as well, that'd be really handy, because then you can survey stuff. Ginway, should we stop at Ginway? It's quite a long way away from where we were just now, so we'll stop there as well. Then Tarnway and Funston. Oh yeah, also, so we've been following this line south, but we're also going east, because this is part of the Gardcity Southeastern franchise as well. So all of these tracks, all the way down to even here where it splits, so we can go to Denston this way as well, which I've avoided doing for the trains to Bahecity, mainly because of this bridge. It's not a good enough bridge, in my opinion. And even if we loop up and around this way, it just didn't feel like a good thing. So actually, maybe instead of going to Denston this time, or Drentbourne, we should actually go up this way. I think we should do this. So we've got Tarnville. Then Drenning head east. And then run fast all the way down here to Lenway Rialta. There we go. Oh, see, Alex is playing Siege. Whoops. Shut down my Discord. That's dumb. Oh, I was going to say something really important then. I've forgotten what it was. Do you know what? I can't remember. That's annoying. It'll come back to me in a second, I'm sure. Oh yeah, that's what it was. The services that we planned out at the top between Gardcity and Bahecity, I think actually they should be part of the Southeastern franchise rather than Gardcity Southeastern. I think that would make more sense. Either that or they'd be part of their entire own franchise. But I think it makes more sense to have them part of the where are we? Cut. And oh wait, you're already here. Derp. So everything here that I've just planned, I'm gonna have to remove. Don't worry, I know what I'm doing. I'm a trained professional. Again, George, what is it you're agreeing with? It's my own fault for saying too much in a short space of time. I'll admit that. I'm assuming you mean you agree that it should be part of the Southeastern rather than Gardcity Southeastern. Alright, let me delete all that. Okay. So the semi-fast, so the expresses I'm going to put under Southeastern. The semi-fast I'm going to put under Gardcity Southeastern. I think that'll work better. Yeah. Good stuff. Okay. So Gardcity St Mark is getting very busy now. Actually, why am I writing all this out by hand? I can just copy and paste, like the lazy bastard that I am. There we go. Gardcity St Mark. So we're going to come out east again, as you do. Except this time we're going to stop at Muntown as well. Is it Muntown or Montown? And I'm pressing all the wrong buttons. Munton. It's not even close to what I said. We'll stop at Munton. We'll stop at Grentown Interchange. Or Interhange as it's now called, because I still can't type. And then down here to Ginway. And then Tarnway and Funston. On the Discord. Nice. Oh, you don't have to go in a voice channel. Don't have to worry about that right now. Where do we go here? We've not been this way yet. Well, we've been this way, but we've not been... Hang on. Let me do a better job of explaining this. So we've not been down to the other high-speed interchange station yet. So, Hartberg. I mean, you can stay on the Discord. I'm not saying stay on or get off or anything like that. I might join it a little bit later. It's mainly for the text chat. So being able to share ideas that way. There's a line missing somewhere. I'm sure there is. Unless this is the one I'm thinking. Oh, this is the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, so Hartberg and then this way to Groodingbury. But yeah, any of the diagrams or anything you've got, or any ideas for schedules and things like that, feel free to post them in the M4J Network channel on the Discord. Also images and stuff, because I really want to see what people are doing with their version of the M4J network, as well as their own networks. So feel free to post screenshots and stuff. Great Fleffingbourne. Should we stop there as well? Probably should. I still can't. I've got like keyboard dyslexia, if that's even a thing. Like I type words in the wrong order. I know how to spell them, but my fingers just type them in the wrong order. It's really annoying. Tuning pool. And then down here to tuning the Estelle. There we go. And then 2 for depot. So these are all the like semi-fast services that will be coming out of GSMA out to the far reaches of the southeastern franchise. And then 30, 60. 50. No, I'm sure it's not a real thing, but you know what I mean. Like I have no problem spelling normally, but when I'm typing, for some reason, I type words in the wrong order. But I know it's not dyslexia. I certainly don't want to patronise and insult those who do have dyslexia. Okay, let's do some locals now. We've done some semi-fast, we've done some expresses. Let's do some locals. So one of them was all stop at a Cadingbury junction. Let's do that one. So from here to MXX EMU stopping. See, even there I so nearly mistyped the word stopping. That just doesn't feel right. Shoreham Junction. Oh, I completely missed the T there. Drentbourne main. Actually, hang on. Oh no, I thought there were platforms at Funingley as well, but there aren't really. So Drentbourne main line, and then it's Sibbertsham, Wenningpool East. I know you said all stopping to Cadingbury, but some of these stations after Wenningpool I might skip, because Gardcity Connect stops at all the stations along the way. So like Petborough, I might skip. I think Marston I'll stop at. And then Charnway I'll skip, but then I'll stop at Drentbourne Bridge. I'm just thinking. I have an idea. It involves coming back up here. So Cadingbury's on that loop. So why not actually make that loop now? So instead of Shoreham, let's go New Rennington. Except we're going to spell it right, because I'm a dope. And then after New Rennington, is it this one that goes down? No, it's not, is it? No, it's not. It's the main line. So it's this one. Should there be a station here? Like right here? They probably should. Let's build one. Let's bloody do it. 3, and then just go old school. 4, 5. Just call you Prindwood South, maybe. So New Rennington, Prindwood South. Then here, Nonfingberg. Excuse me. Then Plinning Hall. Then Munton. Grentown West. Then I'm going to guess it's Grentown Interchange. Yep. Then it's Benfingford. Penston North. Cadingbury Junction. And then I think we will do an all-stopper. So Dayhill City North. And Drentbourne Bridge. And then we go up this way. So Swift Lane. And Great Puning Well. These stations are all going to get rebuilt because they all look awful. I don't want to criticise anyone who's made a new GRF, but those platforms, they look a bit like unfinished, like they've not been textured. Brendhead Cross. Frunley Central. I think what I'm going to do here, I'm going to do something a bit different. So this is the overground line here at Frunley Central. I think I'm going to get rid of Praston West. And then what I'm going to do is remove all of this track, remove this track, and then remove all of this track. And then here, instead of going to the right, I think I'm going to go to the left and actually connect it up here. So you would go there and you would go there. This is kind of like how they've done it in South London. Like South London, there's just tracks everywhere. Everything connects to everything else. It's a bit insane. But I kind of like this idea. So I think we'll do it to there. Then we'll slope down. Like this, and I think we'll have... Actually no, we won't have a station there. I'm just going to drive a hole. Sorry everyone, sorry. and then here, flatten that. Like so. And do something a bit like this, and then do something, yeah, like that's fine, and then you come out like that, you go along like that. And then build these in like that. So that's how it connects up on this end. And then on this end, I think we'll do something quite similar. Again, I'm demolishing a lot of stuff here, but I promise you it'll be worth it in the long run. Let's get rid of that. So I think the trains will rumble through here at quite a slow speed. But again, I'm okay with that. Right, South London, 30 miles an hour is pretty much the norm. Absolutely everywhere. It's very, very slow, but it does function, and that's the main thing, really. So you're going to be a path signal, 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 so are you. And then here we'll build a whole new signal, like that. And you'll be a path signal. Right, chat's gone really quiet again, guys. Let's pick it up if we can. So Friendly Central. Then the next station is going to be Preston North. Like so. And then Kenville Airport. So this is the area I was thinking of converting into the main depot. Like somewhere in this big green space. And then have it connect directly, probably down here somewhere, to the main line. So it's not too far away from GSMA, but it's also far enough out that we've got a huge amount of space to work in. Like we can build it on the top of the hill here. What about service based on the Thames link that runs from stations north of Gardcity to Bahecity and other destinations? Gardcity to Bahecity is too far, but Gardcity Connect is basically our Thames link. So it connects the north to the south and then also the east to the west. So we can do something similar in Bahecity, but to run from Sunnington all the way down to Bahecity and beyond, I think that's too far for a Thames link type service. But Gardcity Express is a slightly different franchise. So Gardcity Connect and Gardcity Express are part of the same thing. They'll both be part of the Gardcity something franchise. But Gardcity Express will span out a little bit further than Gardcity Connect, so it will go to places like Kingston and Drentbourne and Tuningly and all the other places that I've forgotten the names of already. So it still won't quite reach Bahecity, but it will connect with stations that will then connect to Bahecity. So if Bahecity has its own one and Denston's the northern limit of that, and then Gardcity has Gardcity Express and Denston's the southern limit of that, there's a nice little interchange there between the two. So Kenville Airport is the next stop. Why is the A not capitalizing? That's really annoying. And then good. Yeah, if you post that in the chat, the Discord chat, M4J Network one, George, as well as the... Have you finished the website yet? Because I really want to see that. Yeah, Adobe's a lot better for maps. Metro Map Creator is a good tool, I'm not disputing that, but for this kind of thing, Adobe Illustrator for sure. Also, I'm still intrigued by that thing that you said before on not Discord, on Reddit. Yeah, this is me trying to find it. Was it last week? Yeah, the TMD replacement. You mentioned... Where is it? Oh yeah, the capacity assessment for GSP. Have you got that you can share as well? For the Plenborough extension as well. Because as much as I don't really like the whole council I propose type thing, I do like reading through like service schedules and stuff like that. It's one of the reasons why I've made them for this series. It's one of the reasons why I really want to see this presentation as well. So, and the website. It's got me intrigued. Okay. Let's just do 0.5 here. And then 0.17. All the way down to Cadingbury. Which is there. Which is about halfway as well, actually. So that's worked out quite well. I think we'll do like a 10-minute stop here so we can get our contingency back. And then on the way back, Kenville Airport is going to be a 1-minute stop. Actually, New Rennington's going to be 1 minute rather than 0.5. I think that's going to be a 1-minute wait as well, so is Monton. So you're going to be a 1 minute. 0.17. And then 30, 30, 60. Okay. But yeah, as much stuff as you can, George, post it on the Discord. Don't post the website yet, obviously, because that's a uni project, so save that for uni. But the rest of the stuff, I would really like to check it out. What else should we do then? I feel like we need to do some of the stoppers down to like Denston and places like that. But I am also feeling like this is becoming a you're just staring at a screen while I'm doing all the stuff on Google Sheets kind of stream. So yeah, do you know how to post stuff on Discord? Instead of typing in the chat box, there's like a little plus icon to the left hand side. If you click on that, you can upload files. That'd be the best place for it. I'm also going to stress test the Discord as well as Reddit. So, I think this stream is pretty much at the end now. There's not a lot left we can do. Because, as I say, I really don't want it to be you just stare at this while I'm typing stuff on Google Sheets. Because that you know, it's completely pointless. But I do want a hand creating these services, because I think there's going to be quite a lot of them in total, because we've barely scratched the surface in terms of all the stations that this serves. So again, George, I turn to you. Those maps you made with the Southeastern franchise and the Gardcity Southeastern franchise, if you could post those on Discord as well so I can refer to them, mainly so I can get an idea for semi-fast and fast services and things like that. That'd be much appreciated. What the hell's happened to my phone? I think it's turned on night mode. Let me check that. Yes, I think it turned on night mode. Dope. So yeah, if you could post all those things, that'd be greatly appreciated. Post links as well then, George. Just post it all on Discord. That's the easiest place. Because then I can read it as and when. So all the files, all the map files, everything like that, post it all on the Discord. Any links, post it there as well. And I'll check it all out. But yeah, Frank, as well, if you have Discord, you're more than welcome to do the same. Anyone else who's watching in the chat, in fact, if you join the Discord, you're more than welcome to add stuff. It's not just exclusive to long-time viewers or anything like that. It is for absolutely everyone. So feel free to get involved. You can also post stuff on the Reddit community as well. The M4J Reddit community link is also in the description. Anything like that, like post it all in one place, or at least in similar places, because then I can go and read it all at the same time and not have to look through different emails and tweets and Facebook posts and things like that. I can just instantly go on the Reddit community and there it is, or I can go on Discord and there it is. It makes my life a lot easier, and it's also really easy to post on these things as well. But yeah, I think we're done with the stream. So next week we'll continue on with some more of this. We'll also start placing down some trains as well and getting those running. So the Gardcity to Bahecity services, I think, we'll actually put onto the network next week. So there'll be a lot of train placing and stuff like that. Because we haven't done that on stream really for a while. I think the freight was the last time we really did that. I might not do all the timetabling and the speed limits and stuff on stream, but I want to get the actual trains done on stream, because I think we need a train episode. It's been a long time where we're just building stuff, so it'd be nice to get all that stuff done as well. So yeah, I think I'll wrap things up here. Thank you very much everyone for coming in. Thank you to everyone who's chatted. I'm going to have to scroll up through the chat so I can remember everyone who was here. So first of all, to George and to Frank, thank you guys for coming in. Kurt as well, if you're still here. Big thanks to Rusty Walker. If you're still watching this afterwards, then thank you very much for watching. The Atom Menagerie, Tian Smits, Rico de Jong. Anybody else? I think that was everyone. Sorry if I've missed anyone out. I'm not used to reading out so many names, as I'm sure you can tell. But thank you everyone for coming in. Oh yeah, there is... Oh no, that's Kurt. Yeah, thanks for coming in, guys. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button if you haven't done so already. It really does help out the channel. Also, feel free to subscribe if you haven't done so already as well. That really helps out the channel. And if you didn't like the stream or the video for whatever reason, you can always hit the dislike button as well. It's what it's there for at the end of the day. Check out Twitter. Follow me on there as well. Check out Facebook. Follow the Facebook page. All the links are in the description down below. Join the M4J Reddit community. Join the M4J Discord. And also check out all the other links that are in the description. And if you want to download the map, you can do so via m4jmedia.com/downloads. I think that's the link. m4jmedia.com anyway. That's the best place to go, and then you can follow the links from there. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Do all the stuff that I said, and until next time, I will see you soon.